everybody, welcome to Let's Talk. I am your host, John, and today here on the channel, we're going to be talking about The Long Walk, which was just released in theaters. This one is directed by Francis Lawrence, who's probably most famous for directing the Hunger Games series, which has a lot in common with this film. He's also very famous for directing Constantine from 2005. Constantine is still my favorite of those films, but things might have changed after seeing this one, which is based on a 1979 Stephen King book. It's all about a dystopian future, which is kind of the past now. It looks like the world kind of just stopped in the 1960s, as the world kind of went into this new regime where the government controls everything. They're in charge of everything that goes on. You cannot speak up against them. That will get you killed. You can't share art, kind of stuff that you might hear about in the America of today. This movie is going to feel very political while you're watching it because it does feel like what's going on in the world today. And it does kind of feel like it was also tailor-made for that. So it's very interesting watching it. And maybe that's kind of the point of the movie. The message of the movie is, because of this long walk, which is a competition that they hold every single year, which inspires hope in everybody. Because people just need that inspiration and basically to go out and buy goods because the economy is so bad. And this is going to inspire people because these 50 men are going to go on a long walk. That's the entire movie. The trailer basically tells you what this movie is going to be about. And even when I saw the trailer, and I try to avoid these trailers, I'm like, how are they going to sustain this for an entire movie's runtime? Well, they proved me wrong because this was a very interesting and a very compelling film. I was wrapped up in it from beginning to end. These 50 men, they have to do this long walk, which has no finish line. It's just the last man standing. 50 of them, and unfortunately, if you drop below 3 miles per hour, you get some warnings, but if you don't follow the orders and you don't get back in line and go those 3 miles an hour, they're gonna shoot and kill you, and that is pretty damn violent, and they make sure to show you that throughout this movie. So you think it's going to be a very bitter movie, a very depressing movie, which it is, but it's also a very inspirational film. It's very heartwarming. It's very well written. The characters themselves are fantastic. It stars Cooper Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, who really got his big start a few years ago in Licorice Pizza. He was in one of my favorite films from last year, actually my favorite film from last year, Saturday Night, even though he only had a small part in it, but he is the main star of this movie along with David Johnson. The two of them are building up a relationship along with a couple other people on this walk. There's a bunch of people, little subgroups, but those are our two main characters, I would say, and they have the biggest character arcs, even though there are a couple other characters that they focus on as well, who have some redeeming qualities that they bring up throughout the film. Again, it's all about bonding. It's all about different perspectives. It's about appreciating your fellow man. Even in the worst times, we can at least respect each other and get along. Like, some people are just doing this to have friendship. They bring up in the movie that everybody volunteers for it, and they explore why, because I don't want to spoil any more about this movie, but there's a lot of stuff in this movie that surprised the hell out of me, including Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill plays the Major in this movie, and very different for a usual Mark Hamill character. At first, I'm like, is that Mark Hamill? Is that who Mark Hamill's playing in this movie? And then, you hear the voice, you're like, yeah, that's freaking him, and he is doing a great job. I wish we would have got a little bit more of him in this movie, because I really enjoyed his performance, and I really have no complaints about the acting. Honestly, the acting is what impressed me the most in this movie, along with the writing. So obviously the actors had a lot to play around with because the screenplay is so good. Again, for something that's so simple as just a walk, that's the entire movie, is we're following them on their walk. I didn't expect this movie to be as good as it actually was. I was very, very surprised. It is one of the best films of 2025. It's one that I can actually highly recommend you go out and see in theaters right now. Is it my favorite film of the year? No, I can't say it is yet, but maybe after a rewatch it will be. It really does find that perfect balance between drama, inspirational, and even having some humor in this. Because, there's a lot of toilet humor because of what's going on in this walk. It definitely answers all those questions you're going to have at the very beginning. And it just feels very realistic. It feels very natural. It does feel very similar to movies like The Running Man and The Hunger Games because they are broadcasting this for the world to see. So it does feel very similar to those movies. But I would actually argue at this point that this is better than any Hunger Games film. And The Running Man, as much as I love the one from the 1980s, it is getting a remake done by Edgar Wright pretty soon. This is still a better film than that, even though it's kind of dealing with a very similar story. Maybe this is one that's kind of sneaking under the radar. They're labeling it at AMC as an AMC artisan film, so it's not really getting the same treatment as other movies. It's not going to be in IMAX or Dolby theaters, but this is definitely one I can recommend you guys go check out in theaters. It's one of the best Stephen King novel adaptations that I have ever seen. If I was going to give this film a score of 1 to 10, I'm going to give The Long Walk walk, a 9.5 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it here for me on another episode of Let's Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video if you could. We also have channel membership, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like John Doe Juggalo, Ben Rondo, and Harvey Scott, you can do that. Or you can even become a channel director like Nicholas Head, Uncle V, Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews, Kevin Kruger, and of course Stone Yes Man. And even if you want to, you can bump it up to the channel bankroll members like the legendary Mr. Smelly Potato. But of course, guys, if you have no money to throw my way, I don't mind at all. I just hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.